Hey, Super Duper Gamer here, and today I'm playing Elder Sign from Fantasy Flight Games. This game was designed by Richard Lanius and Kevin Wilson. This is a 1 to 8 player cooperative game where the players will take on the roles of investigators trying to stop an Ancient One from awakening in the Miskatonic University Museum. They'll do this by completing different adventures to collect Elder Signs. If they collect enough Elder Signs, they'll be able to seal away the Ancient One for good. But if the Ancient One awakens before they're able to do that, it will enter into our reality, and the investigators will have one final, near impossible battle trying to stop the Ancient One from destroying the Earth. Let's start the adventure. Let's take a look at what we've got on the table before we start playing. So here's all the tokens of the game. You've got your Elder Signs. These are what the players are trying to collect. These are the clue tokens, stamina, sanity, doom track tokens, and investigator player markers. And here we've got a cup full of the monster tokens. Now the game doesn't actually come with any bag or anything to randomly pull those out of, so a large coffee cup like that is what you'll have to use. Here we've got a player's character sheet. Their starting items, their stamina and sanity, are identified by how many tokens are there. You've got your Mythos deck. This gets triggered every day at midnight. And the 4 different kinds of items: common, unique, ally, and spell. Over here we've got 6 adventures laid out. There's always going to be 6 adventures out. And these are sort of where most of the game happens. The investigators will travel to these adventures, trying to complete the tasks listed on the adventure to obtain the reward. If they fail, they must suffer the penalty. And here, this is a deck of Otherworld adventures. They're pretty much the same as regular adventures, but they're extra special and they only come out at certain times during the game. When you set up this game, you'll choose one Ancient One to be trying to hold back during this game. There's actually, I think, 8 in the base box, enough for a good variety. It's got an effect here that happens through the whole game, and then over here in the tan box, that only happens at the end if you have to resort to that near hopeless battle against the Ancient One after they've awakened. So here for Cthulhu it says reduce each investigator's maximum sanity and stamina by 1. That's why here on Dexter Drake's character sheet it's got 5 and 5 for maximum sanity and stamina, but we only have 4. That's because it's been reduced by 1 because we're playing against Cthulhu. Here we've got the clock. Every time a player takes a turn, the clock will advance 3 hours, and every time it strikes midnight, we'll be using that Mythos deck. And this is the entrance to the museum. This is where the characters start, and they can come here to heal up or buy items. Here we've got our dice pool. Okay, so the first step of the game, actually part of setup, is to reveal the first Mythos card. Now when you're looking at these Mythos cards, there's a top part and a bottom part. The top part is called the immediate effect, and the bottom part is called the lingering effect. So the immediate effect happens now, and the bottom part stays in effect until the clock comes around to midnight again. This says immediate effect, add either 1 Doom token to the Doom track or 2 monsters appear. So you get to choose. I'm going to choose go ahead and add a Doom token to the Doom track. And if you look at the Doom track, there's 2 different icons on here. The one with the little shadow guy on it, that's just a regular spot, but if it hits one of these spots with the bat-looking thing on it with tentacles, that means a monster appears. So for now, I just add a token to the Doom track and no monster appears. Now if the Doom track fills all the way up, that's when the Ancient One awakens. Okay, so now we move into Dexter Drake's first turn. So the turn goes movement, resolution, clock phase. So movement just means I get to choose what adventure to go to, or I can go to the museum entrance if I want to make use of the search lost and found, or buy a souvenir, or receive first aid. But I would say I don't want to do that right now because I have everything I need. Actually, I have 3 starting items, a unique item, and 2 spells. And I also should have mentioned here that Dexter Drake has a special ability. Each time he gains 1 or more spells after setup, he gains 1 extra spell. So if I see a reward of spells on any adventures, I'll probably want to target those because he will profit more from it. Okay, so I'm going to just pick one to go to. I think I want to go here. This says at midnight a monster appears. So at midnight effects are very dangerous. When the clock comes back around to midnight, it's going to trigger a monster if this adventure is out here. If I can complete this adventure before that happens, then I won't have to deal with that. So come in here and do this. You automatically get all the green dice that are available. Right now all 6 are available. And then I have a unique item here that could add the yellow and red dice to my pool. I'd have to spend this unique item to do that, and it's not quite worth it because the yellow die actually doesn't have a terror icon on it. And you can identify that by the back of the rule book. There's a quick reference here. And you can see here what the sides of the green die are. And then the yellow die replaces the terror icon with a 4 investigation. And then the red die replaces the 1 investigation with a wild card. Now the wild card can be used for a terror result. So the red die is by far the best die in the game. But if you're looking for terror, you don't want to get the yellow die. It's a waste. And actually 3 terror, I'm thinking it's going to be pretty hard to do right now. So instead of moving there, I'm going to move here, Hallway on Fire. It's got a terror effect, and I'll go into how that plays out if I need to. And you can see here there's an arrow. The arrow means I need to complete the tasks in order. Most adventures do not have an arrow, and you can complete the tasks in any order. You can see this has 2 tasks. So to complete the first one, I'll need to roll 1 peril. That's all I need, 1 peril, that's what you call the skulls. And in order to complete the task, I also need to sacrifice 1 stamina. I need to complete both the tasks in order to complete the adventure. So I'm going to take my 6 dice and roll them. Now you can see there I got no peril, which is bad. And it says terror, lose 1 stamina, and I do have a terror result. Actually, I have 3 of them, so I should have gone to that other adventure. But what happens is when you fail a roll and you roll a terror and there's a terror effect on the card, that's when it triggers. So I need to lose 1 stamina for that. So I'm down to 3 stamina. And I have to sacrifice, I have to discard one of these dice and then re-roll. This time I do have a peril result. See, there's a terror, but it doesn't matter because I have a successful roll. I can use this peril and sacrifice 1 stamina to complete the first task. Now there's only 1 more task left, so let's see if we can do that. If I had another peril, I would cast a spell on it, but I don't. So I've done a successful roll. Now I move on to the next task and try to roll again. 4 lore. That's a fail, but there's no terror, so I don't have to do that terror result. I sacrifice 1 die and roll. All investigations, but again, no terror result, so I lose 1 die and try again. 2 investigations, but no terror result. Now to my last die, 1 more. Alright, so I failed to complete this adventure. In that case, all the dice are returned to the dice pool. My character stays here, and I have to suffer the penalty, which is lose 2 stamina. Unfortunately, I only have 2 stamina, so that means my character is devoured. When your character is devoured, they get removed from the game. Alright, so this character has been eaten. He's no longer available. All your items go to the bottom of their appropriate stacks. There's the unique item and the 2 spells. This guy did not last long at all. And then you just get to choose a new character. So I've picked a new character here called Vincent Lee. Again, he has 5 and 5. That'll be reduced by Cthulhu down to 4 and 4. His special is once per day at the start of any player's turn, Vincent may cause any one investigator of his choice, including himself, to regain 1 stamina. It's important to note that at the start, or once per day, means every time the clock strikes midnight. Every time the clock strikes midnight, it's a new day. Alright, so he'll start at the museum entrance, and he'll get 1 common item and 1 spell. Or sorry, yep, 1 common item and 1 spell as his starting items. 4 stamina and 4 sanity. And at the end of, that's my resolution phase is over. Now the clock phase, clock advances 3 hours. Now back to the movement phase, because it's my turn again because I'm the only player, so I get to move my guy. I'm going to take him straight into the same one. Oh, of course this character is gone, he's been devoured. Sorry, Dexter. Alright, Vincent Lee's going to attempt this, and just to be safe, he's going to go ahead and spend his common item for that red die, because he saw Dexter's fate and he does not want to suffer the same thing. So he takes all 6 green dice plus the red die that he gained using that common item and rolls for this adventure. Alright, we do not have any peril, but we do have a wild card, so he's going to go ahead and use that and sacrifice 1 stamina. Alright, task 1 complete. 1 successful roll, now on to the second. Okay, there's a terror, but again, it doesn't matter. It is a successful roll because he did roll a peril. So he's going to put the peril here, sacrifice a stamina, and this adventure is complete. So Vincent goes back to the museum entrance, all the dice get put back up in the common dice pool area. Now Vincent actually takes this adventure card and keeps it as a trophy. Here it says 2. That means it's worth 2 trophies, and trophies can be spent at the museum entrance to buy items or even elder signs if you collect 10 of them. And immediately a new adventure pops out. And don't forget to collect the rewards. So 2 unique items. Alright, so he can get a red die again, or he can use this. It says after rolling discard to defeat a monster. Alright, that's very good. He's going to hang on to that. Clock phase. Advance 3 hours. Now back to movement. Vincent's going to go to a new adventure. How about this one right here? Because he still wants to get rid of this at midnight effect. So he's going to go ahead and do it. And he's going to spend this red die to get that wild card roll back and see if that helps. So he needs 3 terrors. And this has no terror effect, so you don't have to worry about the whole failed roll when you roll a terror, doing something bad thing. That doesn't happen here because there's no terror effect on this adventure. He's just here to try to get rid of this at midnight effect, and also if he completes it, he gets an Elder Sign, which is of course how you seal away the Ancient One. He got no terrors. He did get a wild card. So what you can do if you have a failed roll, it has to be a failed roll, is you can focus a die. So take one that you want to hang on to, put it on your little character token, and keep playing. And that's only good for the remainder of your turn, but you'll be able to save it into the following rolls. So it's still a failed roll, so you discard one of the dice and roll the remainder. We got one terror, that's it. Okay, so it's going to be pretty hard to roll, 2 terrors with only the remaining dice. So he's actually going to cast a spell, and he's going to cast that spell and hang on to this terror result. Now when you do a spell, like I said, when he did this focus, it's only good for the remainder of his turn. This terror result will actually stay on this spell until it is used, or until someone wants to take it off and roll it. So if he fails this adventure, it's still going to stay there, and he can still use it next time. But that was still a failed roll, so you take one more green die and discard it and roll the remaining dice. 1 terror. Okay, so using this terror, plus the terror on this spell, plus the wild card that was focused, we now have 3 terror results to complete this adventure. Alright, all the dice get returned to the dice pool. Vincent's going to head back to the museum entrance. He's going to collect this as 2 trophies, but he also gets the rewards. Now the rewards are a clue, a unique item, and an Elder Sign, which are all good, but also a monster appears. Sometimes bad things happen, even when you're successful. So here's the unique item, the clue. The clue is good for a reroll. The Elder Sign, just put the Elder Signs up here by the Ancient One. Once there's 13 Elder Signs there, then the investigators have sealed away the Ancient One and won the game. But for now, and then a monster appears. So that's when you take this cup, shake it up, pull out a monster. Alright, and this is what the monster tokens look like. Alright, so you can see the monster token has a task on it. Now when it's two icons in one space like this, that means or. So you can either do a peril or terror to complete that. And then on the back, it's got a little flavor text, it's called a zombie, and it's got a trophy value too. Now when you put out, first you have to flip the new adventure, and when you put out a monster token, they have to go in any monster spots. Those are these ghostly white boxes with the monster icon on them. Okay, so he has to go here because that's the only monster box available. If there hadn't been any monster box available, I would get to choose where I put him at the bottom of any of these adventures, and he would be an extra task added onto that adventure. As it is, he'll be an extra task added onto this adventure. Okay, that completes the resolution phase. Moving on to the clock phase. The clock advances 3 hours. Okay, and my turn again, so back to movement. I'm gonna go here. Sure, when night falls. Try to kill this monster, because that's an extra trophy. So it's 2 trophies for the adventure and 1 for the monster. A lot of the flavor text in this game is really good. I do appreciate, or recommend actually reading it, because this game really got me into flavor text, and I really love the art. Every one of these has amazing art on it. And the spells and the items, even though they're all the same, all the spells look like this, they all have unique art, and all these adventures have great art on them. And that's something that a lot of the newer games, especially the crowdfunded ones that are sort of sourced, independently instead of by a big company, I find to be lacking, because I really do appreciate all the art that goes into games like this. Alright, so he goes here and he's going to roll. But there's, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have to use 5 dice to complete this. They only have 6 green dice. I think he's going to go ahead and use this unique item to throw that red die in there again too. So he rolls all 6 green dice plus the red die. He's trying to get, there's no arrow, so he can do these tasks in any order. Alright, there's a peril, so he can complete that top one. What else we got? We got 2 lore. No, there's 1 lore, but that's it. So he's going to use a peril to complete that monster task. And the lore, he'd really like to hang on to the lore, so he's going to do that. So he's going to take this lore and put it on the spell, and that's going to save it for later. Now you can't focus. He has to use the spell because you can only focus on a failed roll, remember? Alright, so now moving on to the next roll. Investigations and a peril. That doesn't help at all. So this is a failed roll. He has to discard 1 die and roll the remainder. Terrors and investigations. Actually, yeah, terror. There's a task for terror right there. Alright, that's a successful roll. So now he needs 1 peril and 2 lore, and he has 1 lore on that spell. So he needs to roll a peril and a lore. 2 terrors and investigation. Okay, so lose 1 die, try again, last chance. No, didn't make it. So this was a failed attempt. So he stays here, all the dice get returned to the pool, but actually, since he did complete the monster task, even though he failed the adventure, he gets to take this monster token as a trophy. So he gets 1 trophy for it, and it made the adventure easier to complete next time. However, he does have to suffer the penalty of lose 2 sanity, lose 2 stamina. Obviously, he only has 2 stamina remaining, so he is devoured. This is pretty bad. I don't actually usually let my characters get devoured like this. It's just kind of happening because I'm not really paying attention, I guess. Usually you can go back to the museum entrance and you can spend trophies to regain your stamina. But anyways, Vincent Lee is devoured. Sucks for this guy, but really, it's okay. Oh my goodness, and I totally forgot, it doesn't matter, it's okay. But when you're devoured, obviously there's a real penalty too. You have to add a Doom token to the Doom track. So here's one for Dexter, and then here's one for Vincent. Now Vincent's Doom token actually falls on a monster icon, so also we have to have a monster appear. And, oh, this is a much nastier one. It's a task with 3 icons on it. But it is worth 2 trophies. But it has to go here, just like the other one had to go here, in the only monster box available currently out on the board. Yeah, Vincent's gone. All his trophies get discarded. So I need to choose a new investigator. I'm going to pull out Jenny Barnes. Her ability here says at the start of her resolution phase, Jenny may discard 1 common item, clue token, or spell to add the yellow and red dice to her dice pool. So that sounds like a really good idea. I'm going to go ahead and try to keep that in mind and take advantage of that as much as possible. She's going to start here at the entrance, and her starting items are 1 common item and 1 spell. She's going to have, remember these get reduced by 1 because of Cthulhu, so she's going to have 5 sanity and 3 stamina. 3 stamina is pretty low. I keep dying from losing stamina, so we'll see if that works out. Okay, and then that ends my resolution phase. Move on to the clock phase. Midnight. Okay, look at the Mythos card. The lingering effect says next time the clock strikes midnight, each investor gains 1 clue token. So she's going to get a clue token. Sweet. She can use that for reroll, or she can use her ability with it to discard it to get the red and yellow dice. And then we flip a new Mythos card. Here we see there's no immediate effect, but we need to lock 1 green die for today. So one of these green dice comes here and it stays on this Mythos card until a new Mythos card comes out next time the clock strikes midnight. So that's going to knock us down from 6 to 5 green dice. That is really painful. So we're going to try to go for an easier one. Now you can kind of tell that this one's only worth 1 trophy, so it's probably easier than the rest if you don't know how to tell. That's sort of an easy way to guesstimate at it. And it's got this arrow, which means we need to do them in order. So first we need 2 investigation, then 4 investigation, then a lore. And that will get us 2 clue tokens and a common item. That would be really good for her because all of those are things she can just discard to get the red and yellow dice. And actually, she's going to do that right now first. She's going to discard this clue token here to get the red and yellow dice. So she has 5 green dice, a red die and a yellow die, and she's going to roll trying to get 2 investigations. Got it right there. So she's going to take that, put it on the adventure, roll for the next task. We're looking for 4 investigation. There's a 2 and a 2. There we go. So she can combine those to make 4 right there. And for this last one, we just need 1 more. She has 2, but she doesn't have a spell to keep them on, so she can't actually save 1. She has to roll for it. No. Okay, discarded die, try again. Yes, there's the lore. Okay, Jenny has completed this task. So she gets the rewards, 2 clues and a common item. Excellent. She returns to the museum entrance, so she keeps this as a trophy. And a new adventure flips out, and then we advance the clock 3 hours. Alright, on Jenny's next turn, she's going to come down here to Riot in the Streets. What does it say? Fueled by a rage they could not explain, people charge through the streets, setting fires and shattering windows. Alright, that's pretty scary. So he's got the arrow, we got to do an order. 3 investigation, then 9 investigation. If we fail, that means it adds a Doom token to the Doom track. So that's a really bad consequence. But if we succeed, we get an Elder Sign and a unique item and a common item. Really good stuff. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and use this common item that would be any other player who plays this would just get a yellow die for it. But she's not playing the item, she's using her ability and discarding it to gain the red and the yellow die. She's still missing that green die from the Mythos, but that's okay. I think we're going to have enough to do this, especially with that red die in there and the yellow die, because those have 4 investigation on them instead of just 3. So let's see, first we need 3. Oh, we got 3, yeah, we got 3 twice, and a wild card. So we're going to use the 3 right there. Roll again, now we need 9. And we don't have any spells to hold any, so we need to get 9 all in a single roll. 3, 6, 8, 10, 11. Okay, perfect. Plenty of investigation. Alright, so that completes this adventure. She returns to the museum entrance. She gets an elder sign, a unique item, and a common item. Way to go, Jenny. MVP right here. And she gets to take this as 2 trophies. So now she's got 3 trophies. Now don't forget, I keep forgetting, don't forget, she can go to the museum entrance and use those trophies to heal if she needs to. Alright, a new one pops out. It's ordered 1332. An award for this is a gate to an otherworld adventure. So we're gonna go there and see if we can get that out and see what the otherworld adventures look like. Oh, forgot to do the clock face. All right, movement, move there. She's gonna play the Tommy gun. Why not? That gets her the yellow and the red dice. Okay, 3 investigation is the first thing we're looking for. Got it. Now obviously we have it here too, but we're gonna save those because those have that has a 4 and this has a 4 and a wild card. Well, actually the 4 doesn't matter, but we're gonna save those because they have more investigations on them than the green dice do. Because we need a 3, oh, there's another 3. No big deal. All right, now we need 2 lore. Now see, here's a lore. There's 2 lore right there, but we can't do it. We can only complete 1 task at a time. Even though we rolled enough to complete that task and the next one, doesn't matter. You can only complete 1 task and then you have to roll for the next one. And we don't have any way to save a dice. The only way to do it would be if we had a spell. So we rolled over 2 lore. We got none. We got the wild, but that's it. So instead of throwing this all away, we're going to use a clue to re-roll. We're going to hold that wild, because when you use a clue, you can re-roll 1, some, or all of your dice. So we're going to re-roll some. Specifically, we're going to not re-roll the red die, and we're going to re-roll all these other ones. There's a lore. Okay, so using the wild and the lore, bam, completed this. So all the dice get returned to the pool. Jenny goes back to the entrance. She gets a clue, a unique item, and an otherworld adventure. So let's pull one of these out. Let's see, we've got the Great Hole of Ciliano. I found myself in a library, but fear gripped me, for knowledge itself can be dangerous. So, it looks pretty much the same as an adventure. The difference is the reward is 1 Doom token and 1 Elder Sign. They're not all like that, but they do crazy stuff like that you're not going to see in the regular adventures. Alright, moving on to the clock phase. The clock advances 3 hours, and now we're back to movement. Alright, so you can go ahead and come down here to this other world card and try to complete it just like a regular adventure. Oh, you can't see that there. Alright, and she's going to do the same thing. She's going to discard it. What does it say? You can discard a common item, clue token, or spell. So she can't discard a unique item. She has to do a common item, a clue token, or a spell. So she's going to discard this common item in order to gain the red and yellow dice. I hope I didn't mess that up earlier. Alright, so she gets 5 green dice, a red die, and a yellow die. Now there's no arrow here, so she can do them in any order. She needs 6 investigation, a lore, and a terror. Okay, there's 6 investigation, 4 lore. So she can either do the lore or the investigations. Just gonna go ahead and knock out the investigation now, I think. Yeah, because you need at least 2 dice to do 6 investigation, and here she's doing it with 3, so that's not the worst thing that could have happened. Now it's difficult watching all these lore get re-rolled when she needs them for the other tasks, but you can only complete 1 task at a time. So here we go. Lots of investigation. That is no good. Okay, so instead of throwing away one of these dice, she wants to hold on to as much dice as she can to increase her chances of rolling a terror or a lore. So she's going to use a clue token to re-roll all of these. There's the lore. Alright, so she's going to use the lore. Now it's a successful roll, so she doesn't have to discard a die or anything. So again, looking for a terror. Nothing. She's going to use a clue token so she can try again with all 3 dice before she has to start discarding. Nothing, so she discards 1. She clings onto the red die, or actually it doesn't matter. Terror. Got it. Alright, that was close. So the reward, then she gets a spell, a Doom token, and an Elder Sign. So she gets a spell, which spells are one of the things she can discard to get the red and yellow dice, but that has the box on it, remember, and we kept wanting that. So she might try to hang on to that and use it for actually spell stuff, but then she has to get a Doom token. There's no monster icon there, so no monster comes out, but she also gets an Elder Sign, which takes her 1 step closer to sealing away the Ancient One and winning the game. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and stop right there for the sake of this video and keeping it brief. Hopefully that was enough for you to get a good idea of what the game looks like and how it plays and what it might feel like to be playing this game. I already mentioned during the play, one of my favorite things about this game is the flavor text. I actually wasn't really into flavor text until I got this game, and then reading the flavor text on this game was what really kind of turned me onto it, and now I read it in all the other games too. But also the art. All these cards have amazing art on them for no reason. And I love that, and I think a lot of new games that I'm getting are sort of lacking that, and it's disappointing to me, but that's something I really appreciate about bringing this game out. And the components all feel top-notch. All these cards feel like I'm not going to break them, they're not going to get bent easily. They definitely feel like quality stuff. The dice feel very quality. Obviously, it could have come with a little cloth bag to draw the monster tokens out of, but hopefully you've got something to use in place of that, because the game doesn't come with anything for you there. Weight-wise, this game is pretty light. You could probably get that from my quick playthrough there. There's not a whole lot of rules to it. I would definitely classify it as a good gateway game if you've got a friend or significant other who's not really into the really complex games with all the rules and exceptions. This is a good one to introduce them to. And in fact, this is a really good one for couples to play together too. A lot of couples can't really do so well with the competitive games because they sort of take it personally when you attack them. But in this game, it's cooperative, so you're both working together, and you just get to have fun and enjoy each other's company without feeling offended or hurt when they do something. Alright, so that's it. Just as a last closing remark, I don't think I said it, this is one of my favorite games. So much so that when I see the name Richard Lanius on another game, such as Defenders of the Realm, I buy it, because I just enjoyed this game that much. Alright, I'll see you next time.